Insurance companies, what do they do with your money? They have to pay claims. So they can't just sit on your premium. They have to try to get the premium to grow. Because what will they do in a situation where the claims will exceed the premiums? That possibility exists. So an insurance company has to act swiftly to ensure that its capital sums will grow, increase. So what did they do? The first thing that they do is put the money in a fixed deposit. Every insurance company does that. And then a part of their portfolio, not all, this has to be a secure, risk-free investment, the fixed deposit. But with another part, they could play the market. It's called speculative transactions. You buy, anticipating that by 4 o'clock in the afternoon the price will rise. So you could sell back and go home 4 o'clock to your dullahin with your pocket full. You don't work for it, you know. No, speculative transactions. Or you sell, anticipating that by 4 o'clock in the afternoon the price will drop. So you could buy back. And when you buy back, your pocket full with profit. You don't work for it, you know. You go back to your dullahin with your pocket full. But the nasty part about it is you have to have political connections. Why you think you give the PNM money and the UNC money? It's not because you like them. It's because there'll be a payback day. The payback day is to get information through the grapevine. It's called insider trading. And that's the way the stock market operates all the time. But in order for the stock market to be able to go to church on Sunday morning and look refined, they have to catch somebody now and then and give him a few years in jail. See? To make the stock market look good. Otherwise, it's insider trading all the time. So when you buy, anticipating that the price will rise, you know it's going to rise because you get the information. And so when it rises and you sell back and you make a killing, it is actually riba because you're ripping off those who did not know. What should we do? I thought this question would come. You have some riba money. And you don't know what to do with it. Can we give it to the poor? No. How can you give to the poor food that's rotten and stinking? But for your own family, you put in good food on the table. When the Prophet said about the slave, look at his words. He said, give to the slave to eat the food that you eat. Before you free the slave, before you dismantle slavery, before you do that, do not free the slave as yet. Give the slave to eat the food that you eat. And give the slave to wear the clothes that you wear before you dismantle slavery. Because in giving him to eat the food that you eat, these are the words of Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. By giving him the clothes to wear that you wear, you restore his humanity. When you restore his humanity, now you can free him. Because when you free him, you can embrace him as a human being and as a brother. Not the way the white man dismantled slavery. Didn't you read William's book? Capitalism and Slavery? You must read it. Why did they dismantle slavery? It was not for humanitarian reasons. They didn't want to give Williams his PhD because he exposed them. And so, do not give to the poor what Allah has made haram to all mankind. Well, then what can you do with the riba money? In Singapore, they say, well, you can build a toilet with it. And you could pay the electricity bill for the masjid with it. Did Allah say so? Did the Prophet say so? Not at all. You're making halal what Allah made haram. You cannot use it yourself. You cannot use it for others. Well, then what can you do with it? Well, I will tell you what I would do with it. You decide what you want to do with it. What I would do with it is use it to teach a lesson. I gave this lecture in Sydney, and a fella in Perth got the video. And he sat down with the Dullahin and he looked at the video. And he decided to do what I told him to do. I said, what I'll do is invite all my family, particularly children, get them something to eat and think about before Maghrib. And after Maghrib, when the place gets dark, I turn off all the lights. So they're sitting long in the dark now. And I said, children, this money is, and I explain to them what the money is. And this money bad. And then I take a match, and I light the match, and I burn the money. And when the children see that money burning, it'll burn their hearts. And they'll never forget that lesson for the rest of their lives. So the fella in Perth, he had 1,800 Australian dollars, and he burned it. Is it right to groom your children to take advantage of scholarships or past scholarships offered by universities? A Muslim is not allowed to accept a charitable gift, even if it be from government or some institution, a charitable gift, unless it is halal. I have something called hypertension, and I have to take a tablet. Every day I take one tablet, so I keep the blood pressure. But that tablet is now offered free in Trinidad. Yeah. You just have to go with a prescription to the pharmacy, and you get it every month, free. But I just go and buy my tablet. So my doctor told me, well, why don't you take it free? Because I could write all the prescription for you. And after he asked the question, he put his hand on him. He said, sorry, I understand why. Because how can I take from the government when the government involved in lottery? Have you no sense? Government involved in lottery, government state-sponsored lottery. That money is not halal. You have more than one drop of urine in it. So do not turn for any charitable assistance. Put your trust in Allah. Do not accept any charitable assistance unless and until you know it is halal. The fellow assures you it is halal. Then you can accept it. Can you plant on land which does not belong to you? At the same time, it is not occupied. The answer is in Islam. Al-ardu lillah, the earth belongs to Allah. The ultimate ownership is with Allah. Any landlord who owns land which is not being used, you have the right in Islam to go and cultivate it. He can't stop you. And you have the right to remain on the land until you reap your crop. And after you've reaped your crop, if he says, no, I'm going to plant my land, well, you get all the man land. So in this way, you don't have absentee landlordism, denying the people the capacity to plant. In Turkey, they wanted to deny the masses the opportunity to plant and get food, to put them down in the dust, because Turkey is supposed to be an ally of Israel. And the Turkish masses in the countryside are Muslim, and they hate Israel. So you have to get the Turkish masses in the countryside to become poor and destitute, become slaves. That's why they attacked the Turkish money to such an extent it became 1.6 million liras to $1. And then when people started going and planting food on land which was unoccupied, an old woman, they locked she up. Yes, they locked she up because she went on state land to plant some potatoes. That is the extent of the oppression. Can you work in an insurance company? Insurance company is the same as banking. They're sisters to each other. If you invest in a company and that company invests in a banking institution, does that money also become haram? If you want to invest, you'll find at the back of this book, you'll find a chapter of questions and answers. In those questions and answers, you will find many of the answers to the questions which you are here posing. Any institution, government or non-governmental, if you want to invest your money in that institution, you have to first make an effort to ensure that it's operating halal. But I tell you, if you ever find such a company operating halal, you better don't talk about it too loud. Because once it is known that there is such a company, they'll destroy it. Can someone accept a government pension? The same thing I said earlier. If you have a contract, and the contract involves a return to you, it's a business, a relationship, then that is halal, because you work for it. This man is a money lender, and I just build roof for house, and I know he's a money lender. And he asked me to come and build his house, the roof. And I went and built the house, and he paid me with the interest money he have. Is it halal for me? Yes, it is. Because when I go in the market to buy and sell, I can't do an investigation, ask you where you get money from. The Prophet never did that. No. Once I sell to you and you pay me, that money is halal for me. It may be haram for you, but not for me. Otherwise, every time you buy or you sell, you have to do an investigation. Get a detective and investigate how many years back? 2, 3 generations? No, that can't work. So that money is halal for me. So if the pension forms part of a business contract, that's different. But if it is something that is charitable, then of course, you will have to ensure